Hi, this is Adam Kunzmiller with RPG Geek at Gen Con 2016, and I'm joined by Ross Kalman with part of the Deernicorn, and we're here to talk about Fall of Magic. So what is Fall of Magic?
Well, Fall of Magic is a collaborative storytelling game where we play as a group of travelers that are traveling in the company of the Magus. The game is, I like to call it a social fantasy game because the focus of play is really on the characters, their relationships, the cultures that they encounter, and how this journey changes them.
Great. So what do we have here? How does this work?
Sure. So this is a storytelling game. Like a collaborative, it's like a role-playing, which is kind of a culture of role-playing game design where the mechanics and the procedures all really focus on creating a story together. Sure. So there's only one die in here, and you actually you won't be using it very often. So the idea is that first the premise of the game is that magic is dying and the Magus is dying with it. We travel together to the realm of Umbra where magic was born. Why is magic dying? Who's the Magus? Why are we going to Umbra? Those are all things that you will decide together as a group as you play the game, and it's going to be quite different from playthrough to playthrough. To making a character simple, you choose a name from the list. So maybe Harp, Kabu, Elamura, Justice, Bago, Piccolo, yes. And then you'll choose a title for your character. So maybe you're an apprentice or a golem of Ravenhall, or a midwife of Barleytown, or a fugitive of Stormguard, or like a giant of Mistwood. And you're going to write that down on a card so everyone around the table can see who your character is. Then you're going to choose one of these sweet tokens to represent your character. And they're all double-sided. These are all manufactured by Campaign Coins, who are actually here at Gen Con as well. I highly recommend you go check them out if you haven't already. And so you choose one of these tokens to represent your character, and plus one more token to represent the Magus, who is a character that we will all share and all take turns playing. The Magus, let's say we choose this for the Magus, you then place the Magus on Ravenhall, which is where the journey begins. So at Ravenhall, there are 4 different scenes. We have the bridge, the menagerie, rose gardens, and the scrying pool. So on your turn, you're going to take your token and you're going to place it at one of those scenes, and then you're going to describe that scene to us from the perspective of your character. So for example, maybe I am Harp, apprentice of Ravenhall, and I describe how I arrive at the bridge, and it has all these statues of all of the many Maguses that have come before, throughout the ages, and I have a bucket and a rag, and I'm cleaning bird poop off one of the statues.
All right.
And I'm talking about how I'm really upset at all the grunt work that I'm being given instead of I really want to be learning magic. So as I describe this scene, other players are free to come in. Maybe I ask someone to play another character, like a fisherman that's on the bridge, or maybe they might want to introduce their own character into the scene. But while it's my turn, I get final say over what happens during my scene. In addition, we each get final say over what happens to our own characters.
Okay.
Now, underneath the scene is a story prompt, and before my turn ends, I'm going to have to use that prompt to add an additional element to the story. In this example, it's my face in the river. So in that earlier example, perhaps Harp at some point, kneels down by the river to wash himself up, and he looks at himself in the river, and it's kind of an opportunity for me to describe to everyone what my character looks like. Then my turn ends. So we go around taking turns, each making up our scenes.
Sure.
And then when play comes back around and it's my turn again, I have a choice. I can either play another scene or play another thing in that same location, or I could choose to play as the Magus. When you play as the Magus, you take the Magus token and you're going to advance them along the path to the next location, and everyone takes back their own tokens. Mm-hmm. Now, as the Magus, I'm going to describe the Oak Hills and the ending of summer from the perspective of the Magus. And this is kind of my opportunity to maybe tell you a little bit about what the Magus is thinking, why we are going on this journey. So as play continues, now we're at the Oak Hills and we continue taking scenes, but we're in this new location. And as play continues, you advance along the map, from the Oak Hills to Barleytown, and eventually there's a crossroads. You can choose, do you want to go to Stormguard or through the Mistwood? And these are, it's kind of interesting because once you get to this point in the game, some of the characters might actually be from Stormguard or from the Mistwood.
Sure.
And so now you kind of have a little chance to incorporate some of those things that you've made up in your descriptions of those places. And as play continues, this is the deep way here, so you can actually go to the back of the map. You can choose to travel, maybe it's underground,
nice.
maybe it's just the other side of the world, but it continues that direction. Or you could, board a ship in Nestalia and sail across the ocean. And when you get to the ocean, you see these 3 islands.
So you line that up with one of the
exactly.
cards.
So each of these islands, when you move the Magus to an island, what you're going to do is draw 2 of these island cards, and then select which one you want to go to. So
nice.
here we have, the Sleeping Cinder Cone or the Mouth of the Sea. Well, maybe I'll do the Sleeping Cinder Cone.
Okay.
And then we're going to take our turns here, just like any other location. And then, so Fall of Magic is designed to be played for 2 to 4 players in maybe 2 to 4 hours per session. And you can play a pretty satisfying first episode of a TV show or maybe first book of a trilogy in one session. But to get all the way through the map, to really explore, to make it to Umbra is generally going to take 2 or 3 sessions. So yeah, that's my description of Fall of Magic.
Awesome. And is this available now? Where do people go for more info?
Yeah, well, Fall of Magic, if you're interested in purchasing a copy, you can get it at fallofmagic.com. It's also available through Indie Press Revolution and is distributed through Alliance. So if you're a retailer, you can pick it up through either of those folks. We also have, it's been translated into 4 languages. It's available in Japanese, Italian, and French. So if there are folks out there that would prefer to have it in one of those languages, it is available there as well.
All right, great. And once again, that was Fall of Magic. Thanks, Ross.
Thanks so much, Adam.